places where they don't get a lot of attention. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to give you the floor for a minute to talk about the company, and I'll let you have it.
Hello, everybody. I represent Salas Group, a big company in Europe. We have a base in Switzerland and big hotspot logistics center in Greece. We have specification in humanitarian aid and like producer and for distribution. We have award from European Union and humanitarian aid. We made some very good jobs about like jobs, in helping Gaza, with help on the European Union recently, and in Armenia. We have a dream, such to say, to make a big hub in Greece to give humanitarian, to share, to distribute humanitarian aid to all Africa and in other places.
Thank you, thank you. So this also, I will, since we have a small, intimate group here, I will also get you guys involved. So as we're having this discussion, I want this to be interactive. So if you have questions or thoughts or ideas to share on this topic, please jump in, raise your hand, and we'll certainly include you in the conversation. So talk about, you're just now launching this big initiative, right? Talk about what you're doing and what impact you think this is going to have on the communities that you're working in.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's really an honor for me to be here. Before starting that, I will start 8 years ago. I will tell you a story. I was working in Brussels, and I had a phone call, and somebody called me and told me, please come, and we're going to talk about Digital Innovation Hub in rural areas. Mm-hmm. Okay, I jumped into this meeting, and when I come back to my hometown, which is a small town, 150,000 inhabitants, I realized that the innovation is not there. You can find innovation in Paris. You can find innovation in Boston. You can find innovation spaces or innovation ecosystem all around the world in big cities, but not in smaller ones. And the other problem was, in that meeting, that they told me, we cannot find enough innovative companies to give third parties funding, cascade funding, because companies don't innovate enough, don't innovate too much. And I came back and I was with my colleagues and we discussed, what do we have to do about it? We need to find and discover new, different ways to distribute innovation in local communities. First, we have to work with pupils, with kids, even from a primary school. And that was 7-8 years ago. And 2 years ago, during the pandemic, the first lockdown, we signed a contract. We acquired an old factory. We completely transformed it in my hometown. And this is the first private, as we believe so, the first private, fully private digital innovation hub in Europe.
Wow. So what is its mission?
I prefer call it a dream.
Okay.
To transfer innovation in smaller communities. Not only to companies, small and medium enterprises, but also to pupils. I will also give you another example. I was in a company close to my office. They were producing aluminum windows, and it's not very small. It's 500 employees. I was talking to the CEO, and we had a discussion about new technologies and IoTs. And he told me, and I told him, why don't you put IoTs in your product? He told me, I haven't thought about it first. And when we discussed it, he didn't know how to do it, how to implement innovation in his own company. This is where we have to intervene in smaller communities, smaller societies, in smaller medium enterprises. And this is my dream, to help companies like this, and also to young pupils and students that they don't know how to innovate.
We are also a company with big innovation in the place of humanitarian aid. You have 1,000 employers. We have a history 20 years old, and we try to make the humanitarian aid with integrity for the human people. We try.
Yeah. So, going back to the hub, are the smaller communities, from your experience, are they open to this idea? Do they want this kind of help? What are some of the things that you're seeing when you talk to young entrepreneurs, maybe in these smaller towns or smaller cities, maybe even older entrepreneurs like me? What are they asking for? What kind of help are they asking for?
First of all, when they come to us and they have a question mark, what are you doing here? But we started our innovation park on the 1.5 years ago, almost 1.5 years ago. Last year, I had in our premises passed by more than 10% of the population of the city. 10% of the population, and we measure that we affect 30% of the population of the area. Our estimation, our prediction is that in 1 year, in 1 million population area, in a region of approximately 1 million, more than 300,000 people will pass by receiving services. This is one number. 20,000 pupils are coming in the premises. That was the number of last year. Just to receive knowledge, to know about technology, to intervene with the technology and with the startups. So this is more or less what we're doing. And the impact is tremendous. More than 10 million Ks can be invested in smaller communities about innovation. Because these companies, these people that live in smaller society, they don't know where to find or where to look for.
That's so true. And I want to sort of ask the audience a question. I was in a panel this morning, and there was a very dystopian view of the future for small and medium enterprise. When we look at the pace of technology and the jobs that it's disrupting, who here is a small and medium enterprise or a small entrepreneur? And are you concerned about where it's...
I use very similar things like you guys, so no, I'm not concerned.
You're not? Okay.
So you know the job. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, there is plenty of things to do as a small business.
And are you challenged, the second question is, are you challenged with how to use technology in your businesses? Is that something that you're really thinking hard about right now? No? Okay.
So I want to give you a question. I want to ask, what's the vision for the future for your companies?
To help what previously said, to help small and medium enterprises to be digitally transformed. If you have the need to be transformed and to know where you want to go, this is something that only companies that have a specific level of know-how how to do it.
Teams that work on this.
They work on teams, and most of the companies have unmet needs that they know that they have. So we have to help, and this is mostly the case in smaller communities, smaller societies, and for smaller companies.
And I do agree with you. I think that whether you're a small or medium-sized business or a big business, you can't ignore what's happening. You can't ignore the access that you're going to have to data. the access to streamline processes. I think if you ignore this revolution that's going on now in business, I think you're going to become irrelevant. I really do. I think you're going to be challenged to be able to survive. And not in all small businesses. If you have the corner bakery, maybe not. But even the corner bakery is going to have to understand their customers. They're going to have to understand the needs of their customers, how to reach their customers. They're going to have to understand how to service their customers better, make it more efficient, think about new ways to do it. During the pandemic, restaurants were forced to go to delivery that would never have delivered food in the past. So I think this revolution in technology change is going to force us. And I think that's why your service is really important in these smaller communities.
Right. I think that this is something relevant that it was written in your book. We need to change the culture. We need to change the way that we are thinking. And changing the way that we are thinking is not easy, even in companies, in businesses. Imagine how difficult it is to do this in a society. Yeah. So this is where we work to. As Joist Innovation Park, we work in changing mind, changing, working with pupils, students, on how to change the way they see entrepreneurship. This is the most crucial factor for me.
If you don't change, you die.
If you don't change, you die. Yeah. You have to keep moving. Yeah, that's true.
And about Mr. Salas, about your vision?
Our vision is the big target is we want to reduce the poverty in the world and to make better the suffer people. We have the innovation with the program of kitting, and we try to make the job better and to go deeper in the suffer people.
May I catch from what the last word that he said? Innovation. How we can transfer innovation to Africa or to smaller communities? It's not a bottom-up approach. Right. We have to work there. We have to be there. And I totally believe that having smaller innovation spaces, that they are the hubs in the smaller communities, they can help the digital transformation, they can help having innovation in these smaller societies. And because there is no other way to do it.
I worked and partnered with a company in Lesotho, and it was a big telecom, and what they wanted to do was to build a couple of different hubs in Lesotho, which is one of the poorest countries in the world, one of the worst education systems in the world, completely challenged economically. And their vision was to, if they built up the entrepreneurship community in that country, I thought it was a really great long-term vision, because if they helped bring innovation and change and education and made these entrepreneurs better, then they were going to have better customers, right? And they wanted to build their business customer base because that's where the money is in cell coverage and internet. So I thought that was a really nice and long-term vision of, if they built these innovation hubs and they provided these courses and this training and this work, then they would raise everybody. And I thought that was a really good vision for communities that are very, very disadvantaged.
This is what in Nigeria happened a few years ago. Now, if you can say 10 years ago, you could not even find a startup in Nigeria. Now they have more than 600 startups. Yeah. One of the biggest startups in Nigeria, for example, recruits people and developers from Nigeria and works with companies in United States, in Europe, and in Asia. So you need to have hubs, innovation spaces, not only to provide humanitarian aid, but in order to increase the level of the ecosystem, the innovation ecosystem.
Just to provide internet for places, people to work, right?
That's how technology can help. For example, technology for sure can help in solar energy, having off-grid solutions for communities and villages that did not have access to the internet or to the electricity. Of course, also technologies that can help to the humanitarian aid on how we can provide humanitarian aid with a blockchain technology.
We've had that discussion. Yeah, we've been talking about that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
We made many efforts about Nigeria to open the roads, but it's difficult.
Yeah, that's very true. Any other questions from the audience on this topic? Anybody have a comment or a suggestion or thought? You work in the space. Tell us about your experience in this.
I'm Peter from Finland. Hello, Peter from Finland. I work with education innovation, educational technology, and learning ecosystems, so digital learning ecosystems mostly. I run an accelerator. I've idea-fathered startup hub in Tartu, Estonia. Mapped 60 startups in the city, but no common space to come together. And now they call themselves the Silicon Valley of the Baltics. I mean, everybody knows Estonia is quite digital, right? And the same for creative hubs and things like this. But how do we transfer? So one of the things I suppose is education system, right? It's because we already have a network, and it's in many countries is where the community comes together because we don't have communal spaces anymore. So how would you kind of take what you have, but then transfer it into other systems? Because you have to use other systems to be able to scale, and you have to use digital to be able to scale.
Networking is networking is the first one, but before that, the main problem for us, for me, is the fragmented educational system we have in most European countries and of course in Africa too. The educational system does not provide the knowledge and the skills that the real market needs.
But here we have a great...
I used to be a university professor and I know how...
But we have a great opportunity. We lack 44 million teachers globally.
Are the teachers the issue or the system is the problem?
No, but we lack 44 million teachers. So if they come in with a new mindset, 44 million teachers, then the education system will change. Because curriculums already have changed. I mean, if you look across Africa, we have a lot of modern curriculums, but it's the practice that doesn't change. And practice doesn't change because we don't have the mindset.
You need to change the culture. Sorry.
No. Please.
Does somebody else... Yeah, culture. I can talk about this topic for a day, so if somebody else wants the microphone.
I don't know how to address the problem, honestly, because I know I've got 2 teenage boys that were going through high school during the pandemic. And I don't think that learning online is not the answer, is not the whole answer.
Hybrid, definitely hybrid.
Right. Obviously, it's a massive opportunity to reach places and people that were never would have access to higher education and to good education. I don't think that's the complete solution, though, because learning online, taking algebra and chemistry and some of these really harder subjects was not easy online.
No,
right?
But can part of the content come online? So
I think
education system is content plus learning process facilitation, right?
100%. And I think because of the shortage of teachers globally, we have to think about how to scale that and how to do that. But you also have ministries of education. It's so complicated of an issue to get global cooperation on that kind of thing is a big monumental.
But ministries want to change. So we did a pilot with UNESCO for digital learning ecosystems in Ghana, and did a whole framework of how to mature learning ecosystems, and it was in dialogue with the Ghanaian education system and the ministry, and they had just done a strategy. And during one of the meetings, they said, this now we need to change everything.
Yeah.
So when the strategy, there is a willingness to actually do that, right?
Oh, I agree. Getting them to agree on curriculum and everything else is the challenge.
But it is also the way that that pupils learn. It is also important the technology that they're using. I totally agree that online is not it's not always that efficient. But I will give you also an example. My daughter is in the 5th grade in the primary school, and she's supposed to learn about the new empires in the history, and she couldn't learn that. We created in Joist Innovation Park, we created a hologram with a next emperor, and he talked to the kids about the innovation that he invented, in all ages, and they learn about this empire.
Yeah.
So we need to work and find new ways how to teach and how to provide the knowledge.
It's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
100% an opportunity. Unfortunately, we have to wrap it up. I want to applaud the work that you guys are doing, and I can't wait to sit with you next year here at Greek House to get an update to see how this is going.
With new innovations.
With
New innovation, yeah.
Exactly. Thank you for coming, and please stick around. I think we have another panel.
Thank you.